I am Cindy Blanco. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like this video at the end, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, or send it to someone who can use it. And today I'm going to be talking about love. Well, and actually it's going to be very simple. I'm going to be answering 8 love questions that I think everybody who's either in love, trying to find love, who is in a relationship, trying to be in a relationship, need to ask themselves or ask the other in order to see if that is the person or what kind of person you want to be with. So I'm just going to get started jumping in. The first question you need to answer, ask both actually to yourself is, who are you? You have to know who you are before you can actually enter any relationship. And of course we grow, we develop, but if you know and especially if you've been in previous relationships, you know exactly what didn't work for you. You need to know what is important for you in a relationship, like what is a necessity. So that's something that I want you to write down. Say, hey, I think it's really important that a guy has a job. I'm just saying something. Or I think it's really important that a guy is very sensitive, or that he doesn't drink alcohol, because I don't know, there's sometimes there are things that you absolutely know that you need in a guy, or he needs to be sporty because, you know, that's really important to me. So know your necessities. That's number 1. Number 2, what are your deal breakers? And deal breakers really means that really make or break the deal. And if you know that, if someone snores, it can be a deal breaker. It can be, I don't know. Make sure that you ask those questions in the beginning of the dating experience. Because if you know that you're someone that absolutely hates alcohol and he likes to drink a beer every day, you're going to fight about that. And I don't think it's fair to ask someone to change later on when you first in the beginning accepted them the way they portray themselves to be, unless they change, of course. So know your deal breakers, know what you will absolutely not compromise on, so you don't make how you say that, you don't make a problem out of everything. Because some people will fuzz of, oh, he leaves the toilet seat open, but is it a deal breaker? If everything else is going right or even perfect, is the toilet seat up a deal breaker? That's the question you need to answer. Number 3, what's your love language? I love you, darling. I love you. No, seriously, what's your love language? Now, if you go online, you go to Google, you find out what the love languages are. And there are different love languages. Some people like it to say that you say more things in words. Some people want you to do things. Some people want you to, I don't know, feel. There are 4 types of love languages, and I kind of forgot, but you need to know what is yours, and you need to know what your partner's is, or what you want your partner to. Yeah, of course, that's the thing. With the love language, you can communicate to your partner, say, hey, for me to show me that you love me or you're affectionate, I think it's important that you call me every day, or that you tell me certain things, or that you use words, or a combination. I like it when you touch, or when you're physical, or whatever your love language is. You need to communicate to your partner so they can say, or your future partner, this is not something I can provide you. I'm just not a very touchy touchy person. So if you want me to, touch you the whole day and that's just not me, then it's up to you to decide, do I want to be with that kind of person that I always have to feel like, I won't get what I need in order to feel love? Know your love language. Number 4. No, I'm gonna leave number 4 for later. That's the juicy stuff. So number 5, future goals. It's important that maybe you've already thought about the future, what you want to do in 10 years or 20 years. Of course, you don't know everything 100%, but what's important that you do let your partner know, or the person you're dating, what your future goals are, and to check if they match. If you want to move to another country in a few years, and he plans on staying in the same place for the rest of his life, you really want to get started with that? I wouldn't do that. So, and even with, do you want to have children? Maybe he doesn't want to have children. Maybe he does want to have children within a year, and she wants children in 5 years. I always say, especially when you're younger, when you're in your 20s, you're like, I got all the time I can date. But when you're in your 30s, what you then do, you just start serial dating, and you just want every guy to, you're going to scan them really fast, because, or you're going to waste a lot of time, waste 6 months on each guy. But the fact is, you want to meet someone and match that person that wants the same thing as you. So I wouldn't waste months on that. And if someone think, oh, you're asking too fast about children, when you're in your 30s and hey, I want to have children in the next 2-3 years, or 1 year, you need to be with someone who is thinking the same way. And if you are on the same line, then a guy won't feel like, whoa, she's really fast with that question. If a guy knows, hey, I'm ready for marriage, I'm ready for relation, I'm ready for love, he's not going to be like, and I've experienced that myself. Like, some people would say, oh, that was really fast. And if you're on the same line, the same level, and you have the same love language, especially, then it doesn't feel fast. It just feels like, hey, everything's going exactly the way it's supposed to do. I have to do something. And again, I forgot to turn off that thing. How do I keep doing that? Who cares? Okay. Wow. The quiet. Because it's nice and warm. Okay. Moving on. Ooh, past relationships. Now, don't dive into deep. Don't say, oh, how many girlfriends did you have? How many men have you slept with? How many? Just go into maybe the last serious relationships, like what ended the breakup. What do you think? What is your how do you say that? What do you think what was your contribution there in the ending of the relationship? And just make sure that that person doesn't only blames that other person, because some people are like, he used to do this, he was, or she was. And there's always two, even if one of them, let's say, cheated, there's always a reason. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm saying there's always a reason why things happen. And if someone takes responsibility for their part, you can see that they have matured and grown in things, and say, hey, I would have done some things different, but that relationship was past its time, and it's okay now. I've learned from that. And that's what you want, someone that moved on and have learned from it. Then, at the same time, you want to know, number 6, you want to know about family relationships. What is the relationship with their family, with their parents, with a mother, brother, father, sister? Are they close? Are they too close? Like visiting daily? If he says, no, I have to eat at my mom's every Sunday. Is that something you want? Or maybe that's something you've been searching for. But some people say, hey, I like to be free. I don't want to be obligated to do things. And some even have a disturbed relationship with their family. And if it's important to you, you need to know why. And if that's someone you want to grow with. I don't say judge them. I always say, let's say you've been through infidelity a lot. Let's say some women or men have been with a lot of partners that were unfaithful. The last thing you want to do is date with someone who has that history, because they might say, yeah, I'm changed, and with the right woman or right man, I won't do that anymore. But if that has happened to this, that you shouldn't date that person. And even if that person has changed, it's not up to you to make sure if that really happens, because it will just put another. If it doesn't, it will be on you, and that other person will just move on to someone else, giving them another try. But your heart might decide to never try it again anymore. So really think about, asking the right questions about family to see if you share the same values. Okay, number 7. Oh, this is really, really important to me. One of the most important. It's definitely in my top 3. Communication. People always say it. But what is communication? What is it to you? And what do you expect from a partner? For me, communication means that we're on the same level, and that what I say is being heard, and the other way around, and that we understand each other. And until we understand each other and have heard each other, we can say there's a good communication. That for me is important, but not for everyone. Some people, they go out of the way of certain conversations. They just brush things off. Some people are dominant and they try to always dominate the conversation. that depending on who you are, I think communication is one of the most important things, because there are a lot of things in the relationship that goes wrong simply because people don't talk things out. For me and my partner, when we have an issue, we talk things out to till in the nitty gritty, just so it doesn't come back. So if we do have, I wouldn't say an argument is a big word. If we have a disagreement or something, we'll go in deep, so I understand him and he understands me, and he's teaching me to listen better and let him speak. Even though sometimes I'm like, no, I disagree. That is not true. I'm learning to listen. I'm like, okay, let me sink this in. Let me listen to what he has to say, or his point of view. Sometimes it's not even about you, and let me just process that. And before I start to react, and usually it's a self-defense mode, which I know I have from nature, always protecting myself. I'm like, okay, what is this? Is this really towards me? Is this about him? And really start thinking and coming back. And until everything is resolved, or you can either agree to disagree at the end, then we let things go. And they almost never come back with us, because we solve everything. We don't say, oh, well, never mind. And it just, it just bottles up. It just goes bigger until there's a bomb that explodes and you have a big fight, because it's never been resolved. And the last, oh my God, that was a very long sentence. Very, very long. Sorry. And the last, but definitely not the least, I think one of the most important things is, not one of the most, well, it is one of the most important things. I think this is one of the reasons many relationships go wrong. It's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you. And I didn't do that in the past, because I was young and I was, I wasn't, you don't talk about sex in the first few dates or when you're getting to know someone better. But if you've already had intercourse, and even if you haven't, if there are things, sexual aspects that are important to you, whether it's being monogamy, whether it's being that you want to wait until marriage, whether it is that you are, I don't know what you have sexual preferences that have ended your previous relationship, then it's good to put that all out on the table in the beginning, before you even start having that relationship. And I was at the point where I was just asked, like, I wouldn't say the first conversation, but after a few conversations, you've been to all the things that I talked about. And I'm like, okay, this could be and I would ask, like how many times a week do you think would be normal for you in a relationship? Or how would you feel if your partner was still communicating with her ex? Or what do you think is exciting? And you don't have to go into really deep. But if you have a very strong sexual preferences, you want to immediately, not to make it all about sex, but just say, hey, I'm just trying to see, okay, we connect on all the other levels. Let's see if we connect on that level. Because the last thing you want to be with someone and everything is great, and you totally mismatch on the sex, and you decide, well, that person is really good and he's really nice, so I'm just maybe gonna find someone else for that part, or I'm just gonna leave that part as if it's not important. But if you talk about it, you're already creating a communication, taking away a communication barrier about that topic. And I think the problem is that a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't talk about what is the problem, what is the things from their past. And I really had to learn that too, because it's not an easy subject. And not now, but before, like, men would be surprised that I was so open. But I was like, listen, I don't have time to play anymore. If a guy tells me this is something I would never do in the bedroom, or I always want to do it with two women, I need to know that up front before I get myself into the relationship, and then know that I always need to have a threesome in order to satisfy his needs. I'd rather not even go in there. So it might be something that's intimate to share, and you don't want to share, but you want to be with someone, you want to be real. And I'm telling you, I'm the realest in this relationship I've ever been. I'm just going to say, take it or leave it. I'm not saying that you have to put out every single detail, but if you want to build the most perfect relationship in your ideal world, you want to be as real as possible. So ask the sex questions that are important to you. and don't ask them in the first date, because then they're going to think, oh, I'm going to get some. Just as soon as you know this is a potential partner, before you go into deep and get into the butterflies too deep, you just ask them the questions like, hey, listen, like how many times, what is important to you, what are deal breakers, what are no-nos, what are yes, whatever question you have. So that's it. It was a long video. It was a long video. But these were the 8 love questions I would definitely ask myself, my partner. I've asked all of them, and I know all of them. And there's no guarantee, but you have to take it. If you have to take a risk in love, do it. You only live once, and always say, I'd rather have the try to go for that amazing relationship, amazing love connection, and fail, and then having that memory of maybe a great time ever, than never having tried, always being afraid. And I know love can be scary, believe me, still is sometimes, but you just go on, you just go through that fear, because that's how you can overcome it. And at the other end of fear, there is absolutely conquer. And if you conquer this, it's going to be amazing. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and send it to someone who can use it. Bye. See you next time.